there's no reason why Liverpool cannot challenge for a title.
The Premier League has a serious Liverpool problem.
Ball, Cody Gakpo! Super Liverpool goal!
And the scary part is, Liverpool haven't even finished building it yet. They're closing in on Bradley Barcola and Ibrahim Mbaye from PSG, two players whose biggest weapons are speed, directness and pure aggression. Now ask yourself why Liverpool would want both. Because this isn't random transfer activity, it's a complete identity change.
If Liverpool were to get these two players...
What a duo, imagine.
Yeah, what could fans expect?
Andoni Iraola wants Liverpool to play faster.
Iraola wants quick attackers that attack quickly.
Press harder, attack space immediately, force defenders into uncomfortable decisions.
They want to play an offensive style, score goals, create chances, get the fans on their feet. That's the Liverpool way.
And the final pre-season game against Como already looked like a preview of what's coming.
Iraola has a style, and he's implementing that already with the youngsters through getting an opportunity up top.
So what happens when Barcola and Mbaye are added to a team that's already starting to play this way? Because Liverpool don't look like a team rebuilding anymore. They look like a team preparing to become a problem for everyone. Start with Mbaye, because his situation has moved the fastest. Reports say personal terms are already agreed between Liverpool and the player on a 5-year deal.
Ibrahim Mbaye has a contractual agreement with Liverpool. He's ready to go because Liverpool are already negotiating for Barcola, who is the top priority.
He's told PSG he doesn't want to go to Bayer Leverkusen anymore, even though a fee was basically sorted with them earlier in the summer. PSG are now asking Liverpool for around 50 million euros to let him go.
PSG are asking for a substantial fee, and at the moment Liverpool aren't ready to accept that.
That's not a small number for an 18-year-old, but it lines up with what Leverkusen were already prepared to pay. Barcola's situation is a bit messier, but it's moving too.
Barcola, that looks set to happen once Liverpool and PSG agree on a fee.
PSG originally wanted £145 million for him, which was never realistic.
PSG reportedly values Barcola at around $160 million, so a huge fee as well considering all the money they spent last year.
That number has dropped to somewhere between 120 to 125 million. Both players were frozen out of the PSG squad for the game against Lens, which tells you everything about where PSG's head is at. When a club stops picking two attackers for competitive matches, they're not doing that by accident. Now, what do these two actually bring? Barcola is built for speed and directness. He runs at defenders, he gets into the box, and he finishes. He's comfortable on the left, and his numbers for chances created from wide areas are some of the best in Liga 1. Mbaye is different. He's only 18, but he became PSG's youngest ever starter, and he scored at the World Cup against France in a moment that got everyone's attention. He's right-footed, but he doesn't just hug the touchline. He can cut inside toward goal or go outside and attack the byline, which makes him hard to defend against. There's a financial piece tying this together too.
Having Gakpo, there's rumours of a bid from Tottenham, isn't there? I think they spent so much money last season, there's an understandable reluctance to spend a fortune this summer.
Cody Gakpo is heavily linked with a move to Tottenham, and that sale is expected to help fund both of these deals.
If Cody Gakpo does leave, that means that Liverpool are going to have to go back into the market to get somebody.
Liverpool aren't just spending freely here, they're recycling money to get two very specific profiles in the door, and that's the part people are missing. Signing both of these players at once doesn't just add depth, it gives Iraola exactly what his system needs on both sides of the pitch, a direct runner on the left in Barcola, and a fearless, adaptable attacker on the right in Mbaye. This isn't two separate signings bolted onto an existing squad, it's a pattern. And that pattern is already visible in how Liverpool played their final game of pre-season. Liverpool's final pre-season game came against Como, and they won it 2-0. 2 clean sheets across both squads on the same day, if you count the earlier fixture with the fringe players too. Not the most glamorous opponent on paper, but the way Liverpool played said more than the scoreline ever could. Cody Gakpo got the opener, and the pass that set him up came from Jeremie Frimpong, who drove inside from right back and slipped it through.
Cody Gakpo had a really good game. Not only did he get himself on the score sheet, but he got himself an assist as well.
That goal matters for a specific reason. Gakpo spent stretches of his Liverpool career stuck out wide, chasing the game rather than shaping it. Under Iraola, he's playing more central and more direct, closer to goal, closer to the ball, and the finish against Como looked like a player who finally understands his job again.
And while we didn't want Cody Gakpo starting every game last season, he could still be a decent score player.
When your inverted fullback is setting up your inside forward, that's not an accident. That's a manager building patterns on purpose. Then there's Jeremie Jacquet, full debut, 45 minutes, and he capped it with a goal at the back post.
And this is Gakpo across the face of goal! What a half it's been for Jeremie Jacquet!
Obviously, he got himself a goal and that's brilliant, but apart from that, some good defensive covering, really good reading of the game.
What stood out wasn't the finish though, it was how calm he looked with the ball at his feet under pressure, how quickly he read the game around him, how little it looked like his first appearance for the club. Centre-backs usually need time to adjust to a new league, a new system, a new set of teammates barking instructions at them. Jacquet didn't look like he needed any of that.
And what I loved to see was 10 minutes into his Liverpool debut, he was already orchestrating and moving people around into position, showed lots of positive attributes. So well done to Jeremie Jacquet, well done to the recruitment team, he looks a player.
Ronald Araujo came on in the second half and brought something completely different. Where Jacquet offered composure, Araujo offered physicality. He put his body on the line, won the duels that needed winning, and helped Liverpool see out the clean sheet without any late scares. Two centre-backs, two completely different skill sets, both doing exactly what was needed in the moments they were needed. And then there's Frimpong. This is the one who should worry the rest of the league the most, honestly, because last season he struggled. Anyone who watched Liverpool regularly knows that. His end product was inconsistent. His decision-making going forward was shaky, and there were games where he looked like a square peg in Arne Slot's setup. Against Como, none of that showed up. His overlapping runs were sharp and well-timed. His link-up play with the front three looked natural, and he looked like the player Bayer Leverkusen fans used to talk about before he ever arrived at Anfield. Put all of that together and you start seeing something bigger than one good preseason result. The pressing was coordinated. The transitions from defense to attack happened in seconds, not phases. The pace across the pitch, from the back line all the way to the front three, matched the identity Iraola wants to build. This is Liverpool playing Iraola's football with the squad they already had. Now stack Barcola and Mbaye on top of that identity and think about what this team turns into once the width and the directness on both flanks finally match the speed and structure already showing up everywhere else. Here's the point that needs saying plainly. This is not a team stuck in transition after losing Mohamed Salah and Arne Slot in the same summer. It's a team being rebuilt with intent, and there's a real difference between the two. Transition means drifting, hoping things click. Intent means every signing, every tactical tweak, every starting 11 decision points toward one clear picture. That picture is obvious once you know what to look for. Iraola wants high-intensity carriers all over the pitch, players who can run at defenders in wide areas, stretch the back line until it breaks, and punish the other team the second they lose the ball.
With Liverpool, you can see very early on the intensity, the vertical sprints.
It's not about pretty passing sequences in midfield, it's about speed, directness, and making the opponent defend in the worst conditions possible. On the run, facing their own goal, with no time to think. Compare that to what's happening everywhere else in the league. Arsenal walk into this season as the favourites, and fairly so, given what they've built over the past few years. Manchester City are going through structural change, still figuring out life after losing key pieces from their midfield. And while everyone's watching those two clubs, Liverpool are quietly building something different underneath the radar. A squad shaped less around control and more around chaos. That's actually the whole point. Liverpool don't need to dominate possession this season. They don't need to outpass anyone or control the tempo of every match from start to finish. What they need is for games to become transitional and messy, because that's the exact environment where Barcola's directness, Mbaye's fearlessness, and Frimpong's overlapping runs do the most damage. Chaos favors the team built for chaos. So here's the actual stakes. If the PSG deals get finalised and the pre-season form carries into the real season, Liverpool become the team nobody in the Premier League wants to play against. Not because they're the most talented squad on paper, but because they'll be the hardest to prepare for. You can scout patterns, you can't always scout speed and aggression stacked on both flanks at once. And that's the real Liverpool problem heading into this season. It's not a problem for the club at all, it's a problem for everyone else in the league who has to find an answer for it. Liverpool isn't hovering on the fringes of this title race, hoping to sneak into the top 4 and call it a good season. This is a squad being built, deliberately, to unsettle every team it faces, to turn matches into exactly the kind of track meet that favours pace over control. The Barcola and Mbaye deals aren't finished yet, but every report coming out of Paris says they're close. And once they land, the picture Iraola's been building since day one becomes complete.